Well, I spent my day driving the new Kia Syros, and it is one of those vehicles that's definitely a very interesting option coming out in the compact SUV segment. It measures in that sub 4-meter length, yet it looks bigger than what it actually is. There's a lot of innovation that's gone into it, not just in the design and the quirkiness of the product, but also in the fact that you get oodles of space inside, peppy engine options, and a ton of tech on board. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what the Kia Syros is as a package and whether you need one in your garage. I'm Vikram Gour, you're watching Motorscribes, and this video is all about the Kia Syros. Now, the Syros was premiered about a month ago, and of course, one of the big talk points was its very quirky tall boy design. Yes, it is something that we've not seen before. There's a lot of conflicting edges on it. There's a lot of lines, a lot of character lines. But at the end of the day, I think it comes together as a package that is quite the head turner. In a good way or bad way, I don't know. It is a very polarized design. But my personal take on it is that I think it's very quirky and something that's young, youthful. And I really could see this as a vehicle that I'd like to own. But that's my take on it. But coming down to some of the details over there, you've got the star map LED lights, DRLs running over here. You've got these nice cube projector lights, which we know is a Kia design signature. You've got the digital interpretation of the tiger nose grille on the Syros. And this is something that we've seen on the EV9 as well. So that being their flagship electric product. There's a lot that it has borrowed from there. Including the way that the lights have been done, some of these flashy edges. Even the hood, it's got a lot of character to it. So there's a nice sloping edge over here. You've got this ridge over here, large Kia badging. You've got a slightly sporty, mount over here. And I think all of that just works together to give the front a really neat sort of youthful yet sporty appeal to it. This closed-off look is, I think, something that gels well with what we're seeing, as we transition towards EVs. And I think that design carries over there as well. But apart from that, you've also got a camera up front. So that's something that you need to notice. Really nice brushed look on the lower front bumper. And I think all these elements come together to give you a vehicle that looks rather stylish, even when you view it head-on. Now, as I make my way over to the side, what you do get to see is a ton of surfaces over here. So you've got the front fender, which has got a slightly curved look. Then you've got this line over here, that is sort of like in the metal, and it gives it another surface and another angle over here, making the front look a little bit more pronounced than what you would get. Of course, the side cladding adds to that whole SUV look. And the top model does run on 17-inch alloys. These are a new design, again looking very flashy, very upmarket, and also gelling with that whole futuristic look. Now, the Syros is available in multiple variants, of course, and the tire size ranges from 15 all the way up to 17. So this being the top model, I've got the 17s on it. As I make my way around, you can see that you've actually got cameras over here as well. And this all is pointing towards another feature that the Syros gets. And when I talk about safety, I will touch upon that. But flush door handles, another neat touch over here. Nice chunky body cladding, which again sort of breaks the size up a little bit and gives you that added appeal on the side. So it's not just one flush look over there. And as you make your way to the rear, once again, you get this vertical line that sort of pronounces the rear haunch and gives it a slightly more sporty look and sort of widens the overall size and appeal of the vehicle. So, done really well. And you would have also noticed the way that the glass house has been done. So you got a nice large rear glass. You've got a great front window. You got this little notch, which is very reminiscent of what we saw on the Skoda Yeti. And there is a little bit of that tall boy play happening there. Neat roof rails up top. And I think all of this comes together to give you a very quirky look. And when you see it up close and personal, you will see these surfaces, you will see these edges all over that really give it a pronounced futuristic look. But coming to the rear, this is one of my favorite things in what you get with the Syros as a package. Up top, you've got your shark fin antenna, you've got a high mount rear spoiler, you've got your rear light over here, but it's just the design and the way that this entire back has been treated, which a lot of people have compared to the Defender. It's a mini Defender in many ways, but jokes apart, they have done a great job over here as well. It might look a little flattish to you, but it's again got that great surface treatment, with these little edges that really give it a nice pronounced look. The star map lighting carries over to the tail lamps over here. You got your low mounted brake lights and indicators down here. And again, you get this brake with the lower surfacing done on the lower bumper. So all in all, I think even when you view it head on from the back, it does have a very striking and imposing presence. Something that's quirky, something that's new, something that we've not really seen in this segment before. And all of these bits and elements, I think they come together to give you a vehicle that's really quite striking on the road. It's got brilliant road presence. And just view it, give it a 360-degree look, and you will find that the devil is in the details, and it will start winning you over with its stance and its design. While the design might be polarized, the cabin has been done with top-notch materials and has been done in such a way that Kia has utilized space to its maximum advantage. And you can see that, the fit and finish is excellent. All the surfaces over here, the plastics, everything, it just looks top-notch. And I think that the way they've done the treatment with these surfaces, giving you this little ledge over here, these neat AC vents running across, all of it, the buttons, everything, it just feels upmarket and top-notch. It's something that maybe a segment or two above would actually crave for. That's the amount of detailing, and that's the kind of materials that they've used on board. But just running through some of the highlights that you do get with the cabin in terms of feature comfort. Number one, you've got a brilliant, neat, sporty-looking steering wheel. You can see there's flat on top and flat at the bottom. You've got your drive modes right on the steering wheel. You've got your traction modes over here. Now, these come only with the automatic, which I happen to be driving. This is the 7-speed DCT. And then, of course, I've got my cruise control modes, and I've got a couple of my, infotainment modes as well, volume control and stuff like that. You get this large Trinity screen. It's a 30-inch Trinity screen. So I've got the driver instrument cluster right in front of me, a digital one. Then I've got a set of controls that I can access right here, and then I've got my infotainment screen over here. So all of that is, again, something that's been done very neatly and is a very upmarket looking touch over there. Wireless charging right over here, USB-C, another USB-C. You've got a 12-volt 180 watt output button right there. I've actually got these very neat cup holders as well. So you've got storage area, and then you can just push on a button and the cup holder pops out. So that's another neat touch. The front seats are, they're ventilated. So you've got back ventilation and seat ventilation. The rear seats also get ventilation, but only on the seat, not on the backrest. You get an 8-speaker Harman Kardon system on board. You've got a beautiful panoramic sunroof, which is again something that Kia has pointed out that a lot of their customers really like. And that is again just some of the highlights that you do get with it. But it is the allocation of space. So despite it being a compact machine, we're talking about it being sub 4 meter in length. Once you're seated inside, it actually feels bigger than what it actually is. There's ample shoulder room. It's a nice wide vehicle. So even up front, tall people like me, I'm 6'2", I feel very comfortable being seated here in the driver's seat. I've actually got a 4-way electronically adjustable driver's seat, which is an added bit of convenience for you to note as well. And you're not rubbing shoulders with the front passenger. You've got a nice cubby space over here as well. So well thought through, a lot of elements on board that will keep you pampered. And over and above that, you also get 80 plus connected features that you can access through the Kia app, which can also heighten your overall vehicle ownership experience. So these are just some of the big highlights on what you do get on board, and it is a very neatly and well appointed machine. So if you are driving around, you are taking it out for a spin, you will definitely be very engaged and very happy with the way that it feels. But one of the biggest highlights of the Syros is the rear seat, and I'm going to tell you about that next. Now, what I think is some really smart engineering, and I don't know why anybody in the small car segment has not done this before, primarily because of design, I'm guessing, is the fact that this seat is extremely functional. Not only is it contoured well and the materials feel great, but you can actually slide them forward or all the way back. You can recline them. So if I have to drop these seats down, you can actually recline them. And now for a guy who's 6'2" and wants to get in, it is an extremely comfortable place to be. I've got the seat set where I would be driving. So imagine two 6'2" people up front, and then you've got 6'2" people in the back. That's the kind of space that you can free up if you don't have any luggage. And if you're just carrying a couple of bags for a weekend getaway, you can still get them in here. And I'm going to show you that as well. But before I do that, a couple of things. One, you've got rear AC vents, you've got charging ports over here. You actually have the smart air purifier on board, so you can actually see a whole bunch of controls over here. And that's again something that we need in cities like Delhi, where pollution levels are going through the roof, literally. But overall, I mean, this space allocation, the fact that you've got ample headroom, you're seated in comfort, is something that is just outstanding about the Syros. Last but not least, you've got an armrest as well, a couple of cup holders, which is your added bit of convenience there too. But even with the seats pushed back all the way, I've got the front seats now where I would be driving. I've got this where I'm comfortable, my knees aren't even touching. I'm going to show you how much luggage you can still get in here. So coming down to the boot, what you do get is a flexible boot space. Now, as I mentioned, I've got the seats all the way reclined to where I was sitting very comfortably in the back seat. The front seats are set to where I would be driving, and I can still stack up a bunch of suitcases back here. Enough for me to go on a weekend trip. If I had 4 of these suitcases, they could pretty much line up right over here. And that is enough for a family to head out and enjoy at least 2 or 3 days on the road with ease. That's about 390 liters of boot space over there. Now, if I slide the seats up a bit, straighten them out a bit, I can free up to 465 liters of boot space. So it's flexible. It's there for you to use the way you want to. You're driving around the city, you're using it as your daily drive. You can have the seats all the way back here, ferry family around, drop the kids off to school, do what you have to, because you don't really need the boot space. But the day that you do need it for a slightly longer trip, well, you can just adjust the seats just a bit. You still have ample leg room in the back, and you can get in a ton of suitcases, including the big ones. So well engineered, well thought through, and definitely one of the top features about the Syros. Well, it's not just about the looks and the space allocation that make the Syros a wonderful package. It's also about the fact that it comes with both petrol and diesel engine options, manual and automatic transmission options. And I'm going to be telling you about how it drives next. Now, the Syros is not just a fun vehicle to drive as well, but it's extremely safe too. Kia has built it with using extremely high strength steel and ultra high strength steel, in all the right parts when it comes to the platform and the entire body. But you also get 6 airbags as standard. It's got hill hold, it's got ABS, EBD, and all of those functions too. But you also get ADAS level 2 features on board, a total of 16 of them, which include your smart cruise control, your lane keep assist, lane departure warning, collision mitigation, and it uses a series of cameras, which I pointed out to you when I was reviewing the exteriors. You've got a whole bunch of cameras on board that help with this entire system. So it's an extremely safe vehicle to be in. Of course, crash test ratings are still yet to come out, but I'm quite sure that even on that front, it will do very well. When it comes to the engine options that you do get on board with the Syros, so you've got both a petrol and a diesel. The petrol is a 1-liter TGDI engine. It develops about 120 PS of power, 172 Newton meters of torque, and you can get it with either a 6-speed manual transmission or a 7-speed DCT. Now, what I happen to be driving is the 1-liter turbo with the DCT, and it doesn't feel like a 1-liter. It's peppy, it's fun to drive, it gets up to 3-digit speeds really fast, and it is quite the engine. But if you are a diesel lover, you also get the tried and tested 1.5-liter CRDI unit, which does about 116 PS of power, 250 Newton meters of torque, and that is available with a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed torque converter automatic. So those are your engine and transmission options over there. Both engines are touted to be extremely frugal. The diesel is touted to give you close to 20 or a little above 20 kilometers to the liter. The petrol is around 18 to 19 kilometers to the liter. So these are outstanding figures. Of course, real world mileage will be much lower. But having said that, it's great to have both these engine options available on the Syros. But coming down to the way that it drives, now being a compact vehicle, being in that sub 4 meter category, you would think that because of the shorter wheelbase, it would take away from the driving element. But Kia has pushed the wheels to the corners. We're talking about having a shade over 2,500 mm of wheelbase, which is astonishing for a vehicle of this size. But what that does is it's not only freed up a lot of space within, but it also gives you a big car ride and feel. They've done a great job on tweaking the suspension to ensure that it does a brilliant job of giving you that ride comfort. It's stable at high speeds, even taking corners. It's something that does it without too much body roll. So, it does win you over with its overall drive dynamics. It's very comfortable, it's plush, and the steering wheel as well, light at slow speeds, what you want in the city, easy to turn, all of that. And at high speeds, it firms up really nice. So a decent amount of feedback coming to you from the steering wheel as well. And you take this as an entire package. You look at the Syros as, your upmarket family vehicle. It does a brilliant job of winning you over with ride quality, onboard comfort, and the fact that it's also fun to drive because you've got those great engines on board too. Now, while I have elaborated on the ride comfort and the way it is to drive, I do want to mention the fact that the overall ergonomics are great too. So you get a really nice commanding seating position. You're actually overlooking the bonnet, so you've got a great view of the road in front of you. It's a very comfortable driving position as well, and that is definitely a highlight for me. A lot of small vehicles, being a tall guy, I find it hard to find the right seating position. It's either you're gonna have to adjust a lot, but with the Syros, I've been able to get a great driving position that's giving me the right view, and it feels just great. And that, again, for me, is another plus for the Syros. Well, on that note, I think I've covered pretty much all the big highlights that you do get with the Kia Syros. It is a decent package. I think it's something that wins me over. I like the fact that it's so functional, it's so funky to look at, it's got its quirks, yet it is very premium. So a lot of these things sort of tick off that emotional element. You want that car to have that oomph factor, and the Syros comes across as something that is different. And I think that I like the fact that it stands out so much, and yet is such a practical and useful machine to have. It's frugal too. Whether you go for the petrol or the diesel engine options, you're going to get brilliant mileage. It's great as a city runabout. It's great as a weekend getaway vehicle. It's ideal for small families, and I think it's just so well thought through that you can't overlook any of these elements. Well, that's my take on it. I think it's something that does belong in my garage, and hopefully one of these days I might be able to convince family that I need to be adding a couple more to my garage. But jokes apart, it's a brilliant vehicle and something that you should definitely consider if you're in the market and looking for a premium vehicle that is going to be easy on your pocket, not just from a purchase point of view, but also from ownership cost. And you can get a very nice, funky ride in your garage. Well, that's my take on the Kia Syros, but I'd love to hear what you have to say, because it's my promise and the Motorscribes promise that we answer every comment that comes in on our channel, and we've helped people make better buying decisions. With over 10,000 comments answered so far, I'm quite sure you've got a couple in your mind, so I look forward to hearing from you.